The history and the role and function of RBI. I told you, right? Everything is regulated by whom? Reserve Bank of India. Fifth chapter to be a separate kind of a chapter because you will learn a lot of things, students. Don't think about the marks. Think about the knowledge what you acquire. The meaning of instrument. Now these instruments are not the musical instruments which we actually play. Negotiable. What is the meaning of negotiable? I always tell my students that knowledge is something which can never be compromised. You should never compromise with knowledge. The more knowledge you get, students. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students. Now here, the introduction, we're going to go with a beautiful subject, that is law and practice of banking. Now here, when we go with this law and practice of banking for the second semester BCom students, you people should actually feel good because in second semester itself, you're going to learn something about the transactions, what happens in bank, what exactly means the negotiable instruments, how the law of banking was framed, and what exactly happens in a bank. So you people need to understand this, and then we will go with the agenda of these introduction. So totally 5 agendas I have actually taken today, and we'll go with that. The first thing is learning outcome. Why is that? We need to learn law and practice of banking. What will it fetch us? What we're going to learn from banking and the practice of the law? So that is where the learning outcome will go. The second thing, we're going to discuss more about the syllabus, how many units, how many chapters in that unit, what exactly are there, what exactly we can actually inculcate in those units also will understand. Then followed by the units, totally you have 5 units. In that 5 units, inside those units, what exactly you get, that is what I'm gonna teach you. Then we'll go with internals, and the last one is the exam pattern. But let me tell you here, students, law and practice of banking is not a subject where you can write according to your wish. You really can't, because it is law. And what happens in law is, it is always fixed. Until unless a special parliamentary reforms or act is brought, we can't change the law. So that's the problem of law. So you can't write law the way you people write the management subjects or human resource subjects or marketing subjects. So you need to stick on to the law, and you need to follow what exactly the law says. So here we're going to go with the learning outcome. So in the learning outcome, in a nutshell, if I tell you something, that is why a student need to learn law and practice of banking. The first thing, he or she in the entire life, once in a lifetime, that is a minimum, right? Once in a lifetime, they will definitely go to the bank. So when you go to the bank, if you don't know anything about it, what exactly happens in a bank, why people are different, right? Why there is a cash deposit separate, withdrawal deposit separate, why there is check department separate. If you don't know, right, we feel ourselves as illiterates, right, or people who are not knowing anything, right? So but if you understand these things, you will get to know what's the meaning of a check, how a check should be written, right? You will also get to know how loans are to be taken, how your debts will be calculated, how interest rates are fixed, what exactly the RBI does, how and why our currency is more than some other country's currency, and why it is less than some other country. You will get to know more in depth in these chapters which we're gonna learn in the law and practice of banking. So the first one here is, it will summarize the relationship between banker and customer. So we are the customers, right? So it will summarize it. Different types and functions of bankers will get to know. So banker, who is a banker? What exactly is a bank? Who are the customers? How to be a customer of a bank? What exactly are the plastic cards? What is a debit card? What is a credit card? You will understand here in law and practice of banking. Analyze the role, functions and duties of paying and collecting banker. examining the different types of negotiable instruments and their relevance in the present context. Right now, what is happening? What is negotiable instruments? See, the meaning of instrument. Now, these instruments are not the musical instruments which we actually play. Negotiable. What is the meaning of negotiable? See, the meaning of negotiable is it is open for discussion. It is open for modification. That is called negotiable, right? But negotiable instrument in the bank in the sense, if somebody needs to pay somebody, how will that person pay? So those are the instruments through which you can have transactions of money. That is called negotiable instrument. So you will understand what is the meaning of a check, what is the meaning of money order, what exactly in a bank, if we need to transfer our amount to somebody else, how exactly the process go. So all these details you're going to learn in this subject. Estimate possible development in the banking sector in the upcoming days. See here, banking sector, if I tell you, it's a beautiful service industry where lot of money dealings happen. But you should also know that it is all regulated by one particular body, and that body is called RBI, Reserve Bank of India. So we will learn more about these in this chapters. Syllabus, I told you there are 5 units. So each unit has a unique quality, unique feature about it. Why we are supposed to understand these things. The first one is Introduction to Banking. Now in this chapter, what exactly you're going to learn? Introduction to Banking is in the entire world, which is the first bank, how the banking word came into existence. In the entire India, which is the first bank, how and when they started. Paying and collecting banker, what exactly is the deposit, withdrawal, all these you will understand in the second chapter. The third chapter is customers and account holder. Customers and the account holder. Who are the people who are holding the account in the bank? What type of accounts they have? Do they have saving account? They have current account, fixed account, recurring deposit? All those things you will understand here. The next one is Unit 4, Negotiable Instruments. You will understand the instruments which are used in the banking. And the last one is Recent Development in Banking. This is a very beautiful unit. If I need to tell you, if I need to explain you more about it, this unit will fetch you more knowledge than the marks. The reality here is, I always tell my students that knowledge is something which can never be compromised. You should never compromise with knowledge. The more knowledge you get, students, some or the other day, it will help you, right? I've seen many of my friends, whenever we go to a bank, right, I see the difference because I'm a student as well as a teacher. If I need to understand, I know 100 things, but as a student, there is always 101 thing which I don't know. So please understand this. We all know many things, but there are few things we also don't know. So this is where you will understand the recent trends. That's why you should always update your skills. You should always learn something. You should never say that, yeah, I know everything, right? I have got some master degree, so I know everything. No, it is not like that. Life teaches you everything. So here also, recent development of banks, anything new which is happening, you should know it. So I told you about my friends when we went to a bank. There are many of my friends who don't even know how to fill a check. They don't even know how to write a letter to the branch manager. They don't even know how to withdraw their money. So what exactly happens is, they know that how to use their debit card. They go to the ATM, they draw it, right? But suppose they need to take, say, 5 lakh rupees. Now, within a day, 5 lakh rupees in the ATM, they will not permit, right? Because they have a fixed sum amount. So only till there, we can actually take the maximum. Now, they need 5 lakhs. So what exactly they should do? They should go to a bank. They should have a check leaf. They are supposed to fill the checks, but they don't know, right? That is where the knowledge will actually come in. There are so many things called RTGS. There are something called NIFT. They don't know what exactly it is. A friend of mine who was in US, he wanted to send money to his father whose bank account was in India. And this person needs to do a transaction. He don't know how to do it. So there is something called SWIFT. So if you understand these terminology of negotiable instrument, the trends, it is so easy for you. Don't you feel that? So that's the reason we are supposed to learn. Now coming to the first chapter, introduction to banking, what exactly we have, we'll go with the first thing is the meaning, need, importance. 2 marks. The question would be, what is bank? Who is a banker? So these are the meaning which you people need to understand. Next is primary, secondary and modern functions of banks. What is the first function? What is the second function? What exactly the primary and the secondary is? Origin of banking in the entire world, how the banking system came into existence, who was the first pioneer of banking, you will understand. Within India, what happened, what exactly is the history about State Bank of India, you will understand more. What exactly is Imperial Bank, you will understand more in this chapter. Origin and growth of commercial banks in India. See here, it's not about the entire world, it is about India. They have minimized your syllabus, India. Types of banks in India, how many types of banks? It's a 15 marks question or it can be a 10 marks question. And the last one is the history and the role and function of RBI. I told you, right? Everything is regulated by whom? Reserve Bank of India. So you will know the governor of RBI. Now it's a small question for you. In the comment box, you people can actually write the answer. Who is the present governor of RBI? It's a beautiful question and you can use the artificial intelligence as well as Google. Easily you can actually go for it, the RBI governor. And if you need to learn something more about it, what is the tenure of a governor? If you just Google it, you will get the answer. Please write in the comment box. So the first chapter is done. Now we have second chapter called Paying and Collecting Banker. Now in the Paying and Collecting Banker, what exactly we have? Again, meaning, role, functions. Here there is a twist, right? Precautions and statutory protection and rights of dishonor of check, grounds of dishonor. Now here we need to go with the precautions and statutory protection. There are so many scams which happens, right? Because it is all about money. So what are the precautions we need to take? I'll give you an example about this precaution. First thing here, students, you have seen Crime Patrol, you have seen so many of the movies where people actually do more crime because money is involved, right? You have something called fishery, right? The fishery, which I'm not talking about catching a fish. It's all about the money laundering, as well as there are a few people who are gonna give you a call and they say that, sir, you have won a lottery, you have won a kind of contest, you are supposed to just send our OTP and we're gonna give you. So all these things you will understand here, the precaution and statutory protections, what the bank also gives. How is that you will not be trapped? If you are trapped, how is that you are supposed to come out? Also, you will get to know more about this in this chapters. If your teachers will explain you more, you can actually ask them more questions. Consequences of wrongful dishonor of checks. So we will understand about what exactly checks are. Legal status of collecting banker, holder for value holder in due course. That is what you're going to learn. Duties and responsibility of precautions and statutory protection to collecting banker. So what exactly is a collecting banker? You will understand more in this chapter. Then in the third chapter, we have customer and account holders, customers and account holder. In this, we have types of customers and the types of account holders. Procedure and practice in opening and operating account in different customers. So here what happens is how to open a bank account, what exactly are the types of accounts, and what exactly is the role and right of a holder. Partnership firm, joint stock companies, how they'll operate. Then executors and trustees, the clubs, association and joint. Hindu undivided family, we call this as Hindu undivided family, HUF. They also go with that. That is why customers and account holders, how many types of customers we have, what are the types of customers we have, that we will learn in this chapter. Fourth chapter is all about negotiable instruments. In this chapter, we have features, kinds of negotiable instruments. So this is a 10 marks question. Promissory note, see this bills of exchange, checks, it's all 2 marks. You will actually get it. Crossing of check, types of crossing, you will get it for 10 or 15 marks. Endorsement is a 15 marks question. It is what? 15 marks question. So you will understand more about endorsement. In the 5th chapter, recent development in banking, we have new technology in banking. See, there are so many features which has been added from 1920 to 2020. Say the entire 100 year, if you go with it, the banking has evolved like anything. And to be very frank with you students here, 2024 right now we are in, banking has gone to a extent where you can't imagine. But I'll promise you something, if we are all there for 2029 or 30, again it will evolve more. See, earlier what used to happen, when my grandfather used to have this bank account and he used to go for the money withdrawal, he used to stand in a long queue, right? Now what has happened, when my dad went for this, the queues were reduced because more banks got operated. When I started to use banking, I never stood in any of the queues. Reason, we have something called ATM. There are so many ATMs in so many places. When you people will go with it, you will not even go to the ATM. We have something called Google Pay, Phone Pay. We do that, right? We don't do any transaction where we use ATM. Hardly from 2016, if I go with it, I have not gone to ATM more. That is a different story. I don't have money. That's a different story. But we don't use ATM more in 2020 or 21, 22, 23, 24. That is post-COVID. We don't use much of ATM, right? So all these are evolution. All these are kind of a revolution in the banking sector that you will understand here. There is something called e-service, which we people are actually using. We have debit and credit cards. We have internet banking. Electronic fund transfer, we have something called EFT, electronic fund transfer. Digital wallet we have money in our Paytms, right? So digital wallet we have. Cryptocurrency has come. KYC, the meaning of KYC is know your customer, KYC. The entire detail you are supposed to do. Basel norms, the mobile banking, then you have e-payment and e-money, everything we will understand in this chapter. So very beautiful chapter. This is, the more knowledge you people will actually get it. So moving on, we have the next agenda, that is all about internals. What exactly happens in internals in our college? Internals is for 40 marks and external is for 60 marks. Say when we go with this 60 plus 40, here it is the internals which I'll talk about. Unit 1 and Unit 2, we're gonna club together and we're gonna make this as internal 1. So the syllabus of the internal 1 is what? Unit 1 and Unit 2. The syllabus for internals 2 is Unit 3 as well as Unit 4. Next internals we have is this, because I always want this 5th chapter to be a separate kind of a chapter, because you will learn a lot of things, students. Don't think about the marks. Think about the knowledge what you acquire. So totally if you go with it, we have 40 marks. In that 30 marks is the written internals and 10 marks is all about your assignments, your skill development books, your Viva OC, all those will be covered. So 30 plus 10 is 40 marks. That 40 marks is your internals. Now question paper pattern, if I go with it, the exam pattern. External is actually being given by the University of Mysore. And we are so thankful for University of Mysore because the way they conduct the exams are so good. And here for 60 marks, how exactly they divide the pattern is, there are 3 parts, part A, part B and part C. The first part is all about 2 marks question. There will be 7 questions and you are supposed to write 5 questions. So 2 5s are 10. That is what your part A is, 10 marks. So here you will have 2 into 5 is equal to 10, but you will be getting how many questions? 7 questions you will be getting. Part B, it is all for 10 marks. So here you have something called 10 into 2 is equal to 20. You will have somewhere 4 questions. You should write only 2 questions. And the part C here is 15 into 2 is equal to 30. They'll again give you 4 questions. In that you are supposed to write only 2. Totally we have 60 marks. It's very easy for you people to understand. I'll just teach you beautifully this subject, because I'll tell you, this subject is beautiful, right? And it's an art. The way I teach, as all you people know, we always use something called ACT. It's called Abhilash Chandra Tricks, where you will understand this subject as well as all chapters in a very crispy, clear equations, which I'll be writing it for you. So books for reference, this is a very beautiful thing which you people need to go with it. First thing is Banking Theory, Law and Practice. We have HPH 24 edition. You can actually use it. Then we have Srivatsa. You can actually use that. Maheshwari also have written. You can use it. Then you have Abhilash Chandra, Law and Practice of Banking. That means I have also written a book. And in this entire session, I've also kept the book image. You can go back to your video and then you can check how my book also looked. So I don't want to do much of marketing about my book, but I have written beautifully. You can actually take that. And any doubts you have regarding this entire subject, please call us. We're always there. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you. Thank you.